If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 1, Revival of the Uchiha. Land of Fire, Konoha Village. Residents of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Sasuke walked on the road, his eyes filled with hatred, confusion, and panic. There was even a hint of unreality. The once bustling residence, with people coming and going, was now deserted. Ants were licking the uncleaned blood, crows emitted eerie cries, making this place feel like a haunted house, cold and lifeless. Because half a month ago, a horrifying massacre occurred here. Uchiha Itachi, a renegade ninja of the Uchiha clan, killed all the members of the Uchiha clan and left triumphantly. The renowned Uchiha clan of the Sengoku period was almost completely wiped out, leaving only 2 remaining members in the clan. Sasuke arrived at a simple small building, where a handsome young man was standing at the entrance. He was about 17 or 18 years old, flowing black hair, and the handsome face that was typical of the Uchiha clan. The back of his clothes also had the same ping-pong ball emblem as Sasuke. Brother Natsuo. Sasuke's voice was hoarse. Sasuke, you're back from the hospital. Uchiha Natsuo looked at the young boy in front of him and smiled gently. His voice was soft. How's your body? Do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere? The vast Uchiha clan is now reduced to just the 2 of us. We can't afford any more problems. Sasuke moved his lips, biting them tightly, as if trying to hold back the urge to cry. Yes. The Uchiha clan was now only the 2 of them. One was himself, who was deliberately spared by Uchiha Itachi, and the other was this fortunate Natsuo. The reason Natsuo was alive was that before the Uchiha clan was annihilated by Itachi, Chunin Natsuo had gone out on a mission and hadn't returned for half a year. He had already been considered a sacrifice by Konoha. Who would have thought that he would return after the Uchiha clan was annihilated by Itachi? Just a few hours later. If he had come back a little earlier, he would have been gone too. Thank goodness! Thank goodness for brother Natsuo! Sasuke bit his lip hard, almost drawing blood. Otherwise, he didn't know what he would do as a lonely person. Be good, everything will be fine. Natsuo gently patted his back. Don't cry. We are the last members of the Uchiha clan, representing the glory of the Uchiha clan. A true Uchiha man would rather shed blood than tears. Okay. Sasuke wiped away his tears forcefully, making his eyes red. Although Natsuo felt somewhat invisible within the Uchiha clan. But now that there were only the 2 of them left, Sasuke immediately felt the warmth of a family member from him. Natsuo comforted him softly for a while. After a moment of silence, he asked, Sasuke, as the son of the clan head, you should inherit the position of the Uchiha clan head. Although you're still young, I don't see you as just a child. So, what are your plans for the future? Brother Natsuo, how can someone like me, the brother of an assassin, be worthy of being the clan head? Sasuke smiled bitterly, with a hint of self-mockery. But when I was in the hospital, I had already thought about it. I want to revive the clan, and then... His eyes were filled with hatred. I must personally kill that man. Although he was only a 7-year-old child, his killing intent was palpable. But soon, his killing intent subsided, and he looked up and asked. What about you, brother Natsuo? I have a clear understanding of my own abilities. Natsuo smiled with bitterness and self-deprecation. Revenge is no longer a realistic hope. So I plan to dedicate myself to doing everything I can to revive the Uchiha clan. Okay. Sasuke nodded vigorously. In that case, let's work hard together, brother Natsuo. Train hard, make a name for ourselves in the ninja world, and revive the Uchiha clan. However, Natsuo shook his head. No, Sasuke, you have a too narrow view of reviving the Uchiha clan. Do you think reviving the Uchiha clan means producing a powerful ninja? No. Natsuo gestured to the deserted residence. Look at this place. With only the two of us in the Uchiha clan, even if we both train like crazy and become top-level experts like Uchiha Madara, we still wouldn't have the right to claim that we have revived the Uchiha clan. What the revival of the Uchiha clan needs most is population. We should start by having children. Sasuke was instantly dumbfounded. Chapter 2, You are in charge of revenge, and I am in charge of reviving the clan. Next, let's see if we can fool to Uchiha. Natsuo had a seemingly indifferent expression on the surface, but internally he sighed lightly. Although I feel a little bad that I have to deceive Uchiha, but considering that the original plot didn't focus much on the revival of the Uchiha clan until the end of the series, it's better that I take care of it. When Natsuo transmigrated and realized that he had traveled to the most dangerous time for the Uchiha clan, he was completely dumbfounded. Did he really have to become a background character during Itaka's annihilation of the clan? Considering that he had a second chance at life, he would fight against his destiny. So, he first tried to train hard, intending to learn from other transmigrators and kill Itaka like they did, but he failed. At 17 years old, Natsuo was still just a chunin. Although he couldn't be considered a slacker, his talent was probably only at the level of an ordinary Uchiha. Then Natsuo considered trying to change the minds of Itaka, Shisui, and others who were brainwashed by the third Hokage, but he failed again. The third Hokage's brainwashing was deeply ingrained, and Itaka and Shisui, although they could barely be considered positive Uchiha, were even more paranoid than ordinary Uchiha. Natsuo was seen by them as a great Uchihist, and their relationship was indifferent. Helpless, Natsuo decided to rely on the power of the clan, to see if he could integrate the entire Uchiha strength and then contact other major clans in Konoha. Perhaps there would be some opportunities, but he still failed. The Uchiha clan revered power, and a mere chunin had no say. Fine, if I can't provoke them, can't I avoid them? With this belief, Natsuo simply took on a mission outside the village and played dead. After all, he was an orphan when he transmigrated here and had no relatives or close friends, nor any feelings for members of the Uchiha clan. But then something happened that forced him to return to Konoha. The system was activated: more children, more blessings. At the age of 18, Natsuo finally obtained his golden finger that every transmigrator needed. However, the effect of this cheat required an ample number of descendants to take effect. In history, there have been 3 individuals who were the most prolific in terms of offspring, Natsuo thought to himself. Genghis Khan, some scholars estimated that he impregnated more than 1,000 women during his reign. Liu Sheng, the prince of Zhongshan during the Han dynasty, had over 120 sons, not counting daughters. Mullah Ismail, the second sultan of Morocco, had 525 sons and 342 daughters. Their common characteristics were wealth, status, and women. Then Natsuo, who knew that part of the story, realized that in order to use the system, he first needed to have wealth and status. And as an ordinary chunin, even if he abandoned his conscience and forcefully took women from the common people, he still couldn't meet the standards of those big shots mentioned above. The only thing he could rely on was the status and vast heritage of the Uchiha clan. That's why he had to return to Konoha and manipulate Sasuke here. Sasuke furrowed his brows and fell into deep thought. Because he is 7 years old, Natsuo's words gave him a very strange feeling. To revive the Uchiha clan, it didn't rely on powerful experts who stood at the top of the shinobi world, but on having children? This didn't align with his understanding at all. But looking at the rare and desolate Uchiha clan residents, Sasuke had to admit that Natsuo's words seemed to make some sense. Natsuo, what you said makes sense. Sasuke furrowed his brows. The clan members are essential for the revival of the Uchiha. Things like reputation should come second. Just that. He looked at his own young face. Is this a bit too much for a 7-year-old child? You don't need to do these things now, Natsuo smiled and said, your talent is much stronger than mine. If there is a chance for revenge for the Uchiha in the future, it must be you. Killing that man is my responsibility. Sasuke immediately breathed a sigh of relief and quickly said, Natsuo, you just focus on having children. Leave revenge and everything to me. Not just revenge, you should also train and find a suitable wife. Natsuo glanced at him and said, that is your responsibility as an Uchiha. Sasuke's expression became somewhat awkward. He was annoyed by the chattering girls in school. Why were Naruto and the others always chasing after girls? However, Natsuo's words were not over yet. With a wife, you have to pamper and cherish her in order for her to give birth to your children. After the child is born, you have to change diapers, make baby food, teach them to speak, buy toys, and accompany your wife in entertaining the child. Listening to this, Sasuke's expression became even more unpleasant. Just thinking about this scene made him feel very uncomfortable. He could only look at Natsuo helplessly. Natsuo, can't we divide the tasks? I'll take care of revenge, and you can take care of reviving the clan. We can, but Sasuke, raising children requires a lot of money. Natsuo shook his head and said, I'm just a porchnin. With my own strength, I don't know when I can revive the Uchiha clan. That's simple. Sasuke became spirited upon hearing this. The third Hokage talked to me about it. Although the Uchiha clan members may be deceased, their assets are still there. According to the village system, they will be left to us. We won't lack money. But Sasuke, those are the belongings of the future clan head, how can I take them? No. Natsuo, Itachi committed such a great crime, how can I be qualified to inherit the position of clan head? Not to mention, the Uchiha clan has always valued strength over bloodline. I think you, Natsuo, are the most suitable to be the clan head of the Uchiha. But Natsuo furrowed his brows lightly. However, Sasuke decisively said, it's settled then. Let Natsuo handle the hard work. He didn't want to revolve around women all day. Well. Natsuo looked hesitant, but under Sasuke's insistence, he reluctantly said, all right then. So, you'll be responsible for avenging the Uchiha clan, and I'll be responsible for strengthening the Uchiha. Brothers united, their benefits will be as strong as gold. Let's do our best. Clap. The hands of the two, one big and one small, tightly held together, their gazes incredibly determined. Chapter 3, I became the head of the Uchiha clan? Sasuke is completely sincere. As the legendary straight man of steel who stabbed Karin with his Chidori in the original plot, he is the only one in the Naruto series. Not to mention the current Sasuke, even in the future era of Boruto, where he takes on the great responsibility of reviving the Uchiha clan, he only has one daughter, Sarada. Although during the original plot, before embarking on his journey to redeem himself, he expressed his desire to begin a relationship with Sakura and promised to meet again, because he did not return to Konoha for so long, it was Sakura who sought him out later and they even traveled together for an extended period of time. During this time is when his daughter was born. Sasuke is a person who puts his goals above all else and considers women as something that can make him waver on his path. If it weren't for Sakura who loved him despite not reciprocating his feelings until the end of the series, and by letting go of his hatred and desire for revenge after the final battle with Naruto, whom Sasuke loves, the Uchiha clan could have ended his generation. Natsuo feels that this situation is a win-win. It was unexpected for Sasuke to pass on the position of clan leader to Natsuo. Sasuke actually values the Uchiha clan and should care about the position of clan leader, right? But when Natsuo saw Sasuke visibly relieved after confirming that he would accept the position of clan leader, he understood. He probably feels guilty towards me. Itachi is Sasuke's older brother, yet he committed such great sins against the Uchiha clan. Although Sasuke now sees Itachi as an enemy, his guilt towards his clan has never diminished. The future Sasuke's excessive pursuit of power, in addition to his hatred towards Itachi, is also largely due to his shame towards his clan. The title of clan leader is precious to Sasuke and carries a sense of adolescent mission to lead the Uchiha's revival. But because of this, after handing over this position, his guilt has eased a lot. The two chatted for a while and then separated. Sasuke began to practice frantically. Natsuo also didn't idle, he started organizing the Uchiha clan's inheritance. For greed nothing is sacred. If the phoenix bird fell into his hands, he would eat it or sell it. Many high-level ninjutsu scrolls were looted, things like money were almost completely taken, and the training notes of the elite members of the Uchiha clan, almost none remained. This clearly couldn't be the work of Uchiha Itachi, but rather the means of a certain unnamed Hokage. Natsuo only glanced roughly and didn't hesitate to put down his work, contacting the major ninja clans in Konoha as the new Uchiha clan leader. First, he informed the major clans that the Uchiha clan had a change in leadership. Second, it was to provide an official response to the events involving the Uchiha clan. The major clans gave him enough respect, and even the third Hokage came as the Sarutobi clan leader. As the new leader of the Uchiha clan, Natsuo, in front of many clan leaders, deviated from the arrogant image of the Uchiha clan and burst into tears in a devastated manner for his lost clansmen, causing vigilance and rejection of the Uchihas to decrease among the main clans, which worried the third Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but quietly chat with Sasuke, vaguely implying, "Did Natsuo force you to give up the position of clan leader? Do you want us from Konoha to help you?" But since Sasuke genuinely stepped down, nothing came out of it. How unfortunate, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself. It seems that some of the things confiscated for safekeeping by the village will have to be returned. Although Natsuo's talent was average and his strength was insufficient, he was still an adult and a chunin, so he had some understanding of the family's assets. If the Uchiha representative was Sasuke, a 7-year-old child who was easily fooled, he would only leave behind a few useless ninja techniques, enough for Sasuke's livelihood but not too much money. But when facing an adult, especially a chunin with a certain level of strength, he couldn't do that. The official statement was that Itachi secretly killed all the Uchiha clan members. This was already quite forced. It wouldn't make sense for Itachi to kill everyone and then leisurely search for money and ninja scrolls, instead of running away immediately. That would be underestimating Konoha too much. The major clans in Konoha were already grieving, and the resentment was strong. If more incidents were to occur, it would not be resolved by small measures like Danzo being dismissed. So, the next day, Natsuo, who continued to clean up the inheritance, discovered that the homes of various Uchiha clan members had gained a lot of cash, properties, shops, as well as some high-level ninja scrolls and training notes. Of course, the third Hokage had most likely copied these ninja scrolls and training notes. But that was a minor matter. The third Hokage was still very generous in his actions. He returned almost all of the Uchiha clan's assets intact, money, shops, stock certificates, etc., except for the ninja scrolls. In the third Hokage's mind, the most precious inheritance of the Uchiha clan was the various ninja techniques that could make the Uchiha clan dominate the Sengoku period. Since he had already obtained the best things for himself, he could be more generous in other aspects, so as to give outsiders the impression of fairness and justice in Konoha. A few days later, Natsuo finally finished organizing the Uchiha clan's inheritance. Before he had a chance to reward himself with a drink and reflect on becoming a billionaire, something he didn't even dare to dream of in his previous life, he suddenly heard the sound of footsteps. He looked up and saw a graceful figure running towards him. Natsuo. The voice of that figure carried surprise and worry. She ran over, opened her arms, and tightly embraced Natsuo. Instantly a faint fragrance filled the air, and a soft feeling surged in his heart. Thank goodness, Natsuo, you're still alive. Chapter 4, My best friend says it is the best option to be a mother. Yukino, why are you here? Natsuo looked at the girl in his arms with some confusion. She was Natsuo's former teammate, a beautiful civilian ninja. However, her talent was only average and couldn't compare to the elite genin like Sakura and Rin. She was currently at the genin level. I heard you came back. That's great, I knew you wouldn't die. Yukino's eyes were moist as she tightly hugged Natsuo. She held him with all her strength, her palms gripping tightly as if afraid that if she relaxed even a little, the person in front of her would fly away. As a ninja, Natsuo naturally had teammates he could rely on. However, when he planned to fake his death, he deliberately chose a time when one of his teammates was injured and went out alone on a mission. He successfully faked his death. It was said that this example was even used by the third Hokage as a teaching material for the Ninja Academy, referred to as the consequence of a lone wolf. It's okay to feel sad. Now I'm back. Natsuo whispered softly, cry as much as you need. It's okay, I feel better now. Yukino's eyes were still red. She looked around at the silent base and the bloodstains that hadn't been cleaned up yet. I wanted to come earlier, but there were ANBU guarding outside your Uchiha clan, not letting me in. Natsuo, is it true that you're Uchiha clan? Yukino hesitated. Yes, it's true. Natsuo nodded. Now, there are only two of us left in the Uchiha clan, me and Sasuke. Yukino's eye sockets instantly turned red again. She gently held Natsuo, as if afraid of hurting the person in her arms. Why are the heavens so unfair? You barely survived and came back to the village, and. Her voice was filled with heartache. Her delicate hand gently caressed Natsuo's back. Natsuo, it's okay, don't worry. The Uchiha clan is one of the great clans in Konoha. Konoha will not let the Uchiha clan be destroyed. Natsuo heard this and couldn't help but his eyes twitched slightly. Girl, you probably don't know that Konoha is about 99% responsible for the Uchiha clan's extermination. If it weren't for my decisive action to ask the third Hokage to seal off the Uchiha clan's residence when I came back, Sarutobi Hiruzen, out of face-saving considerations, would have had to send people there. I estimate that the clan's assets and ninja scrolls would have been lost by now. And Yukino continued to comfort gently, the third Hokage won't just sit idly by, the major clans might also help. And. I will help too. When she said the last sentence, Yukino's face blushed slightly, and her voice was very soft. If you didn't listen carefully, you might not even hear it. The two of them chatted for a while. Yukino couldn't help but ask about Natsuo's plans for the future. Natsuo didn't hold back and revealed his revival of Uchiha, starting with a harem plan. The revival of the Uchiha clan needed children. However, in the world of the Hokage, although there was no formal agreement, the default among ninjas was still monogamy. It was only the high-ranking nobles of the Fire Country who had multiple wives and concubines. His changes had to be publicized so that the women of Konoha would be aware of it and have the opportunity to seize it. Your Uchiha clan does need new blood. Yukino blushed, but nodded without hesitation. This is for the clan, Natsuo, you have to work hard. Oh, by the way, you haven't been home for half a year, and there's a lot of dust accumulated there. I wanted to help you clean up before, but your clan members wouldn't let me in. Let me help you tidy up the house. Living in a clean house will improve your mood. With that, she rolled up her sleeves and started working with a smile. The time for the ANBU blockade was limited, so Natsuo naturally prioritized organizing important items such as ninja scrolls and property deeds. As for the place to live, if it weren't for the fact that ninjas were accustomed to a harsh life, they might not be able to live there. The big cleaning began. It wasn't just Natsuo's room, but also the dark red blood stains on the ground that had to be cleaned bit by bit. Before they knew it, it was already dark. Natsuo thought for a moment and said, "You can stay here tonight. It's too late to go back to your place now. Don't worry, the bedding in the house is clean." Okay. Yukino blushed and nodded gently. That night, Natsuo had just laid down. A series of soft sounds rang out. Yukino gently pushed open the door and walked in. Yukino, what are you? Natsuo was momentarily stunned, then smiled helplessly. I need to rejuvenate the Uchiha clan, perhaps I can't be considered a qualified husband. I don't care. I don't want to just secretly watch you like before. Yukino's face was red, her whole body trembling slightly, like a frightened little rabbit, her voice filled with shyness. But her actions were decisive. And Natsuo, do you know? My friends say that a girl like me is the best to be a mother. Chapter 5, for the revival of the Uchiha clan. Between the sheets, in perfect peace, the back and forth is synchronous. The movements slow but never cease, then rise with amorous violence. Yet closer still, the lust for love becomes sublime, one slides into the other's, fill the coming moments beyond time. The eyes roll back, the light caress has now dug in, moans interrupted by a smack of rhythmic impact skin in skin. In unison, the lovers' gush of spirit meets, their finished glow beams like the sun. They lie alone. Where are the sheets? Early in the morning, the sun just rose. The two embraced, Natsuo looking at that young face with a hint of shyness, clear eyes filled with love, and a well-fed figure praised by her friends as good for being a mother. Several major battles happened overnight. And when we were a little tired, we confided in each other. Yukino's eyes were filled with tears as she began to remember. In the mission, it was Natsuo who skillfully defeated the enemy ninjas and saved me when I was helpless. I was weak, despised by my teacher and teammates, but he generously taught me his ninjutsu. During the 6 months without any news from him, I regretted every day and night because I got injured before and couldn't go with him. Now, I won't hesitate anymore. At noon, the sun was scorching hot. Sasuke came over, intending to inform Natsuo about his school matters, but he found Yukino sitting next to Natsuo with a shy expression. Her posture seemed a bit strange, occasionally showing a touch of painful affection between her eyebrows. Although Sasuke was still young, in the world of Naruto children mature quickly, and the ninja school did not shy away from teaching some adult topics. He immediately understood. And was greatly amazed. No wonder it's brother Natsuo. He has started the great cause of reviving the Uchiha clan so quickly. Sasuke felt emotional. Then, as a family member, he carefully observed Yukino for a while. Although she seemed childish in the eyes of adults, she was very important in Uchiha Sasuke's heart. What do you think about polygamy? What are your thoughts on having children? Are you willing to contribute to the revival of the Uchiha clan? Yukino blushed but didn't hesitate to answer. And then, great! This is the good wife of my Uchiha clan. Sasuke excitedly raised his thumb. Nice to meet you, sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, you have to work hard with brother Natsuo from now on. Yukino blushed and nodded. Did she finally gain the approval of her brother-in-law? Although this brother-in-law was a bit too young. Natsuo, of course, wouldn't neglect the etiquette towards his beloved. He quickly started preparing for the wedding. After marriage, his wife, now named Uchiha Yukino, became even more gentle, and their life became happier. It's unclear if her friend's comment about being the best choice to be a mother was too accurate. 1.5 months later, Yukino became pregnant. Husband, it seems like I'm pregnant. Ha ha ha, great! That's wonderful. Yukino, you've worked hard. Natsuo laughed heartily, while Yukino, listening, couldn't help but roll her eyes in a playful manner. Wasn't it laborious to toil day and night? Both of them were very happy. Of course, Sasuke was even happier. Do I have a new member of the Uchiha clan again? Sasuke's eyes welled up with tears, even more excited than Natsuo, who was about to become a father. Ignoring the objections of the two, he forcefully dragged Natsuo and Yukino to go shopping, buying a large number of maternity and baby products. Although Yukino didn't know whether to laugh or cry, because it was still too early for that. But he didn't care at all. Be prepared early, be at ease early. He even almost said, today, everything depends on him, the second young master. Yukino was speechless. But as she looked at Natsuo, who was asking her friend which obstetrician-gynecologist at Konoha Hospital was the best, her heart was filled with sweetness. A large number of maternity and baby products. Specially invited experts from Konoha Hospital for check UPS. Various delicacies suitable for pregnant women, purchased at any cost. Highlighting a wealthy appearance. However, after a while, the three of them were a bit tired. They were sitting in a dumpling shop, taking a break, when Natsuo suddenly looked up. "Oh, Anko, you're here too." "Natsuo? Are you guys eating?" A woman dressed in a mature and sexy standard fishnet undershirt, but with a baby face, walked over. Mitarashi Anko. She is currently not a particularly high-ranking Jonin, just a Chunin in Konoha, considered to be a student of the same generation as Natsuo. "Yeah, we got tired from shopping, so we sat down to rest." Natsuo smiled. "How about it, do you want to come and try it too?" Anko glanced at the table full of dumplings and silently swallowed her saliva. This thing is her favorite. "Sure." Anko accepted eagerly. The few of them chatted casually, but Natsuo couldn't help but glance at Anko a few more times. Anko seemed a bit poor. Looking at a ninja's economic situation, you can tell from their ninja tools like shuriken. Although Anko's shuriken can't be considered low quality, they are still ordinary and belong to the level that civilian ninjas like to use. And then look at this guy, although you can't tell from her appearance, her chewing speed for the dumplings is much faster than an ordinary person, and soon there is a pile of bamboo skewers left. It's as if she hasn't eaten for a while. This shouldn't be. Natsuo thought to himself. The Mitarashi clan is a family clan in Konoha. Although they are not very famous and their strength is average, and they have never produced a high-level expert. But they should still be okay. Anko is a Chunin, and with the support of her family, it's impossible. No, it is possible. As a trusted ninja clan of Orochimaru, when Orochimaru defected, the Mitarashi clan naturally came under investigation by Konoha. In all aspects, suppression and isolation were inevitable. Anko's situation when she was Orochimaru's disciple was as glorious as it was miserable now. Although she was innocent and not deliberately suppressed, don't expect the clan to give her any support. The Mitarashi clan was also afraid of being misunderstood by the high-level officials of Konoha and needed to avoid suspicion. Considering that Anko's main ninjutsu relies on the snakes from the Rika cave, which have a huge appetite and consume a lot. With the income of a small Chunin, she really has to save a bit. Of course, this situation is only temporary. As time goes by, the need to avoid suspicion will gradually diminish, and the clan's support will be restored. And Anko herself will be promoted to a special Jonin, and in the future, she may even become the main examiner of the Chunin exams. This means that she has been accepted by Konoha at that time. Once Natsuo restored Anko's situation, he no longer cared. On the other hand, Yukino narrowed her beautiful eyes, looked at Natsuo, then looked at the beautiful and charming Anko, and couldn't help but ponder. When Anko left, Yukino suddenly spoke. "What do you think of Anko?" Chapter 6, Uchiha's Expensive Plan. Although Yukino asked subtly, but Natsuo still understood her intentions at a glance. Natsuo didn't know what to think and was speechless for a moment. "You just got pregnant and you're already looking for another woman for your husband." Yukino, however, confidently replied, "Precisely because I am pregnant, I cannot be with you. So, for the revival of the Uchiha clan, I should find a sister. Otherwise, wouldn't all this time be wasted? That would be such a shame. Truly an exceptional wife. What my sister-in-law said is absolutely right." Natsuo hadn't even spoken yet, but Suzuki excitedly gave a thumbs up. "Truly worthy of being the wife of the Uchiha clan, so reasonable. To be honest, I also think we can speed up the Uchiha revival plan. Sasuke has actually wanted Natsuo to find more women for a long time. Just one wife, and we call it revival? It's just that during the honeymoon phase, Sasuke didn't want to say much. Later, when Yukino became pregnant, it became even harder for him to bring it up. Originally, he planned to wait a while, and if Natsuo didn't take action, Sasuke would bring it up. But he didn't expect Yukino to suggest it herself. Truly, she is my Uchiha Sasuke's sister-in-law. I've decided on this sister-in-law. Then he turned his head and said to Natsuo, "Brother Natsuo, actually, I also think that Miss Anko just now is not bad. Although she can't compare to sister-in-law Yukino, she's not far off. We don't expect her to get pregnant as quickly as my sister-in-law did in just a month and a half, but wouldn't 2 or 3 months be enough for results? Brother Natsuo, work hard, and our Uchiha clan will rise. You guys really dare to have bold thoughts." Natsuo was speechless. You are willing to consider anyone a target. Although Mitarashi Anko's current life is a bit difficult, her strength is not ordinary, and her talent is enough to be taken as a disciple by Orochimaru. Among the same-aged people in Konoha, she is in the top tier. From a position perspective, even if Anko is suppressed by Konoha shinobi, she is still a Chunin, on par with Natsuo. Anko is also a genius, proud and arrogant. How could she willingly become a concubine? Sasuke thought for a moment but couldn't come up with a way to persuade Anko. Yukino also furrowed her brows slightly. It can be seen that she has fully embraced the identity of the lady of the Uchiha clan. After all, according to the village law, she already changed her name to Uchiha Yukino. Which is why it is natural for her, as a member of the Uchiha clan, to put the interests of the clan first and do everything possible for the revival of the Uchiha clan. The two of them racked their brains, trying to come up with a solution. Natsuo coughed a few times on the side. To be honest, you don't need to worry too much. During this time, I've come up with a perfect solution, but I haven't implemented it yet. Yukino and Sasuke, a perfect solution. Konoha. Hokage's office. Sasuke took the lead, entering the Hokage's office with the proud posture unique to the Uchiha clan. Natsuo and Yukino followed closely behind. Hokage-sama, our Uchiha clan wants to issue a mission. Sasuke's expression was solemn, with a hint of pride between his eyebrows, as he spoke word by word. For the revival of the Uchiha clan, our Uchiha clan has decided to recruit outstanding and physically healthy female ninjas on a long-term basis. We require that they be at least Chunin level, that they have a healthy body, that they be willing to have a child, that they have a kind temperament, and that they are willing to live with other women peacefully. As long as she is willing to give birth to a child for our Uchiha clan, she will be rewarded with 10 million Ry and a B-rank ninjutsu scroll for each child. If the female ninja is a J-nin, she will be rewarded with 50 million Ry and a scroll of A-rank ninjutsu. If the female ninja is Kage level, she will be rewarded with 300 million Ry and a scroll of S-rank ninjutsu. Oh, by the way, our Uchiha clan also plans to employ a team of experienced medical personnel for childbirth, to ensure the health of both mother and child and the normal development of the child. As he spoke, Natsuo slapped out a bank book, revealing a deposit of 500 million Ry. His attitude was clear, this was the down payment. Third Hokage? Secretary on the side? After a while, Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen pinched the bridge of his nose. Sasuke, Natsuo. What are you trying to do? Of course, it's for the revival of our Uchiha clan. Uchiha Sasuke said without hesitation, nowadays, the Uchiha clan is declining in population and weak in strength. That's a fact I have to admit. The revival of the Uchiha clan requires a large population to restore our Uchiha clan's glory. Brother Natsuo once said that the biggest difference between the strong and the weak is their way of thinking. Free love is too slow. The Uchiha clan needs a faster method. We will make the Uchiha great again. He had a serious expression, with a touch of fanaticism on his face. This is the next strategy of the Uchiha clan. Use a large amount of money to form a harem and thus be able to revive the Uchiha clan in the fastest way. This is Uchiha's expensive plan to increase the descendants of the clan. Chapter 7, Did my female assistant she was actually poached? The ninjas can't save Uchiha. But having children can. Sasuke's eyes were filled with fanaticism, and his voice was full of Uchiha's unique paranoia. Anyone who saw Sasuke like this, regardless of the clan emblem behind him and the Uchiha's unique Sharingan, could clearly see that he was a pure-blooded Uchiha. The third Hokage opened his mouth but couldn't say anything for a while. Natsuo coughed. Lord Third Hokage, the revival of the clan by the former clan leader Fugaku was hindered halfway, and now the clan is about to disappear. The clan is exhausted, and this is indeed a critical moment for the survival. However, our Uchiha clan is a great family with great ambitions. We will not relent internally. Today, we want to revive the glory of our ancestors and have many descendants to strengthen our clan. Natsuo rambled on, and then added a sentence in response to Sasuke's words. If the woman has a special bloodline limit, our Uchiha can offer more money. Cough, cough. The third Hokage coughed twice and said with a black line on his forehead, Natsuo, I understand your desire to revive the Uchiha. But as a ninja clan, you should not consider restoring the reputation of the Uchiha clan and making the Uchiha name resonate in the entire ninja world. The third Hokage tried to persuade Natsuo to follow the path he had originally imagined for Sasuke. However, Natsuo didn't hesitate and said, No, Lord Third Hokage, I am well aware of my own talent. Even if it means seeking revenge for our clan, we may have to rely on Sasuke's growth. The only thing I can do is to continue the Uchiha bloodline. Before that, everything else is meaningless. Please allow our Uchiha clan to issue missions and strengthen our bloodline. He remained silent for a long time, and finally sighed softly, Are you sure you want to do this? By using this method to strengthen the clan, your reputation will be completely ruined. At Sasuke's age, he obviously wouldn't be the target of mission execution. So, it could only be Natsuo who would take on this role. The mighty Uchiha, once known as the strongest clan in the ninja world, now had a clan leader who could only be a stud? Compared to my personal reputation, the clan is more important. Natsuo said without hesitation. Well then, as you wish. Thank you, Lord Hokage. Natsuo, Sasuke, and the others left the Hokage building. Sarutobi Hiruzen watched their figures and sighed softly. It's a pity. Judging from the looks of it, Natsuo doesn't plan to go out on missions anymore. The Uchiha clan's inheritance was quite substantial. As long as Natsuo, the only adult Uchiha, had a little accident while going out, Konoha would have a way to gradually take control of those inheritances. In fact, if it weren't for the aftermath of the Uchiha clan's extermination not yet dissipating, would be worried about other major clans having ideas. Perhaps Natsuo would have been assassinated in the village long ago. But it's fine. The Uchiha clan is growing stronger, which is beneficial for Konoha. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, is well aware that the Uchiha used to be a major enemy of Konoha. However, now that only a few Uchiha members remain, they are the most reliable Uchiha. As long as they are further indoctrinated, the future Uchiha clan members can be completely controlled. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen is making an effort to suppress his greed and not look at the Uchiha clan's price list on the table. Damn it! The Uchiha clan is really wealthy. Even the lowest ranked Chunin can use this mission to extract a reward of 10 million RY from the Uchiha clan, along with a powerful B-rank ninjutsu. From working hard to getting pregnant, and then going through postpartum recovery. Assuming this mission requires a year of work, it's equivalent to a Chunin earning 10 million RY per year. 10 million RY. Even the lowest ranked S-rank mission requires about a month of work for an elite Jonin team, but the reward is only 1 million Ryo. And it has to be divided among the team members. By this calculation, it's almost equivalent to a Chunin continuously completing mid-level S-rank missions throughout the year. Not to mention the additional rewards of valuable B-rank advanced ninjutsu. Moreover, the prices for Jonin and Cage level female ninjas have doubled, and the rewards are astonishing. Damn it, after all these calculations, Sarutobi Hiruzen is even considering arranging some female ninjas from the Sarutobi clan. Cough, cough. The third Hokage coughed, interrupting his train of thought, and waved his hand at the female assistant next to him. Junko, put this mission quote on the mission list. However, the female assistant seemed absent-minded and dazed. Junko? Junko? Junko. The third Hokage raised his voice, and the female assistant, Junko, suddenly snapped out of it. Ah! Yes, third Hokage-sama. She quickly started working, and after a while, she casually said, by the way, third Hokage-sama, the Jonin exams for this year are about to begin. When should we report the Jonin promotion exams? Oh? Do you want to participate in the exams? The third Hokage smiled and felt that he should encourage his ambitious subordinate. It should be in 3 months. If you want to participate, you need to prepare well. Ah, it's that far away. Junko looked disappointed. It seems like I can only take missions as a Chunin. Otherwise, by the time 3 months pass, those other bitches will have already taken all the missions. Forget it, even if the price is a little lower than that of Jonin, I'll just take them first. Then she swayed her hips and walked off in high heels to post the mission report. The third Hokage looked bewildered at Junko's retreating figure. From bewilderment to embarrassment, and then from embarrassment to disbelief. My female assistant, she was actually poached by the Uchiha. Chapter 8, Konoha Trembles. Konoha Mission Hall. Underneath a photo of Natsuo, looking extremely handsome. Offering a generous reward. Uchiha Natsuo, inviting the female ninjas of Konoha to help with the revival of the Uchiha clan due to the shortage of descendants. Requirements: female, under 30 years old, physically healthy, no bad habits, beautiful and fertile, preferably at least a Chunin level ninja, no limit on the number of participants. After the interview, upon completion of the pregnancy examination at Konoha Hospital, half of the commission will be paid, and the full payment will be made after the success of the task, along with a high-level ninja scroll. This mission can be kept confidential, and after completion, there can be no further contact, without affecting the family. You can also formally join my Uchiha clan, get married and enjoy the treatment of a wife, in addition to receiving the regular commissions without any impact. Detailed rewards: 10 million RY and B rank ninjutsu scroll for Chunin, 50 million RY and A rank ninjutsu scroll for Jonin, 300 million RY and S rank ninjutsu scroll for Cage level. The reward will be doubled if they have twins, and if whoever accepts the task has a special bloodline or extraordinary talent, the reward will increase. Under the mission introduction, a large group of people looked confused. Everyone had a question mark on their faces, their eyes seemed to have lost their luster, and their brains were stuck. But as time went on, what the hell? Is the Uchiha clan serious? 10 million RY and B rank ninjutsu for Chunin, 50 million RY and A rank ninjutsu for Jonin, Cage level experts. This is even more insane than picking up money for free. Not to mention marrying into a wealthy family, the Uchiha clan is one of the top families in Konoha. The entire mission hall exploded in an instant. Everyone's faces were filled with excitement. It's too exaggerated. Really too exaggerated. The lowest level Chunin level reward is comparable to a Cage level expert executing an S-rank mission. Not to mention marrying into a wealthy family. You should know that in this world where bloodline limits reign supreme, bloodlines do have different levels. The big families not only look down on civilian ninjas in terms of status, but they can also easily kill a large number of civilian ninjas in terms of strength. Just look at the 12 strongest, except for Sakura and Lee, all of them are from big families. And these two can keep up in the future, relying on the support of high-level ninjas. The Uchiha clan, without a doubt, is the top noble clan in the ninja world. Although they are currently facing a disaster. But a noble family is a noble family. By marrying into it, one can directly become a noble in the eyes of others. Both oneself and future generations can receive unparalleled resources from the Uchiha clan, as well as countless high-level ninjutsu and endless wealth. It can even influence the future of the entire family of the bride. The female ninjas were going crazy and flocked in. I want to sign up. Me. 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 I can bear children, just look at my body, it's obviously good for giving children. I also want to sign up. I am one of the most talented civilian ninjas. The child I give birth to will definitely not embarrass the Uchiha clan. Their fanatical appearance was even more ferocious than the aunties fighting for discounted groceries. Looking at the crazy appearance of these beautiful dream lovers, the male ninjas couldn't help but sarcastically say, "Damn Uchiha, playing with such a high reward for having children? They're really embarrassing their ancestors." But the next second, this man was surrounded by a group of women who were eyeing him. What do you know? Natsuo is doing this for the Uchiha clan. That's right. The Uchiha clan only has 2 members left. If he doesn't make an effort, won't the family be extinct? At a time like this, can't we be a little flexible? Who are you to criticize him? Even the female ninja spoke with conviction, saying, the Uchiha clan is one of the major clans that founded Konoha. Now they are facing the threat of extinction. As a Konoha shinobi, I absolutely cannot ignore this. I'll take on this mission. The other women gave her looks that said, you have no shame. But she didn't hesitate and said, we can't let the contributors to the founding of Konoha shed blood and tears. I'm doing this for Konoha. I'll take on this mission too. The news of the Uchiha clan's frenzy of taking wives spread throughout Konoha in an instant. This guy really caused a big commotion. Mitarashi Anko looked at the mission report with a strange expression. As a classmate who was familiar with Natsuo, she naturally talked about his plans for the future during their meal together. Natsuo told him, what the Uchiha clan lacks the most is population. I still need to work harder. Looking at the bundles of baby supplies, Anko thought Natsuo meant that he would put in more effort with Yukino, taking care of the family. Who would have thought? But the reward for this mission is really tempting. Mitarashi Anko silently swallowed her saliva and touched the low-quality shuriken in her pouch. 10 million RY is enough for her to not have to worry about expenses for a long time. She could eat a whole plate of dango, and even throw one away. Of course, she definitely wouldn't take on this mission. She hadn't reached that point yet. Kakashi looked at the mission briefing, his mouth twitching. I remember the Uchiha clan being a proud bunch. Is Natsuo an exception? If Obito had his audacity, he might have already won Rin. The major ninja clans of Konoha had different reactions. The Inyazuka clan said, isn't it a bit too direct to just issue a mission like this? The Uchiha clan is indeed a bit bold. The Nara clan said, in terms of efficiency, this is the best way to revive the Uchiha clan. But the wording is too straightforward, it's not good. The biggest reaction came from the Hyuga clan. Hayashi coldly snorted and said, even the esteemed Uchiha clan has fallen. They actually use money to pave their way, completely lacking the dignity of a prominent ninja family. But there were rumors circulating privately. The day before, Hayashi had belittled the Uchiha clan during an internal meeting, believing that the Uchiha clan had completely declined. Truly classy women wouldn't accept this kind of mission. The number one prominent family in Konoha is indeed my great Hyuga clan. As a result, the next day, a daughter of the branch house went to take on the mission. Fortunately, Hayashi found out early and intercepted the mission application form before it was reviewed by the third Hokage, saving our Hyuga clan leader from embarrassment. The news continued to spread. A few days later, even the students at the Ninja Academy knew about it. Sasuke, is your Uchiha clan really going to look for wives? Little Sakura's eyes sparkled. What do you think of me? Although I'm still young, I believe I will definitely be a good wife in the future. Crazy implications. Sasuke glanced at Sakura and said, flat chest, small butt, average looks, you're not worthy. Maybe when you grow up and become more voluptuous, there might be a chance. But even then, you'll have to be able to catch up with the other women. Little Sakura. She took 3 steps back as if struck by lightning, with a face full of shock and grievance. I still have to catch up? Chapter 9, Newlywed Uzuki Ijao. Sasuke certainly didn't lie. Although he didn't realize that little Sakura's target was not Natsuo, but himself. But Sasuke knew how many mission sign-up forms the Uchiha clan received these days. When little Sakura grows up, she might really need to cut in line. That night, the Uchiha clan held a meeting to discuss this issue. Sure enough, I was right to come back. Natsuo thought to himself. He risked his life to return to Konoha, just to make use of the Uchiha clan's legacy, right? And now, the Uchiha can be described in one sentence: we Uchiha are only left with money. If you count the cash and bank deposits inherited, Natsuo has a total of 10 billion Ry in his hands. This is the accumulation of the Uchiha clan for hundreds of years. Not to mention the large properties and shops that the Uchiha still have in Konoha, shares in major businesses, Fire Country's mines, and the merchant caravans that travel between the 5 great nations. In addition to the accumulation of the Uchiha clan during the Sengoku period, there is also the influence of the second Hokage's policies. He restricted the Uchiha clan to the police force, to prevent the Uchiha from experiencing too much warfare and producing Manjiki wielders. But while there were political restrictions, there were also economic opportunities, allowing every Uchiha to live a prosperous life. Therefore, even though many older generation Uchiha knew that the second Hokage was hostile towards them, and many orders contained elements of suppressing the Uchiha, in the end, during the second Hokage's lifetime, no Uchiha rebelled against Konoha. Even people like Uchiha Kagami willingly fought and died for Konoha. Today, Natsuo's inherited wealth mostly comes from the accumulation during the special policy period of the second Hokage. This gave him a solid foundation, allowing him to spend large sums of money without consequences. Come on, let's carefully choose which female shinobi will become the help for the revival of our Uchiha clan. Natsuo waved the mission application forms and smiled at Sasuke and Yukino. The 3 of them started selecting. Natsuo, what kind of woman do you want to choose? Yukino seemed very interested in this. Of course, it's high-value women from Konoha. Sasuke nodded slightly, indicating his agreement. The 3 of them began their selection. First, they had to be beautiful, otherwise Natsuo wouldn't be interested. Secondly, they must be in good health. And then, their strength and talent should be good, as it would affect the talent of their offspring. Although from a scientific perspective, women who have given birth once have a strong advantage in childbirth. Natsuo also has a unique appreciation for married women and young mothers. But considering the future, naturally, young girls are more suitable. After all, girls will eventually become young mothers, but young mothers will not become girls. Suddenly, Natsuo's hand paused as he flipped through the application forms. What's wrong, Natsuo? Yukino leaned over curiously and glanced at the list of female applicants. Uzuki Ijao? Is there something wrong with this woman? No, nothing, Natsuo smiled faintly. I just feel like I've seen this woman somewhere before. From her age, she seems to be my junior. Maybe she secretly admired you when you were in ninja school. Yukino teased. I remember you were quite popular back then. Natsuo smiled casually and didn't say much, but his eyes narrowed slightly. Although she was younger, looking at her purple long hair, her special genin rank, and the introduction of her proficiency in swordsmanship below. It should be her. But Uzuki Ijao is directly under the third Hokage's Anbu. Is this the third Hokage's arrangement? He thought to himself, while casually putting the report form into the approved column. After careful consideration, 5 people were selected first. Including the woman that Natsuo believed to be Uzuki Ijao, all 5 expressed their willingness to marry within the Uchiha clan. After all, who would want to be just a silent tool for reproduction when they could marry within a prestigious family? 2 of them were special Jainin, and the other 3 were Chinin. They were all civilian ninjas, without any special bloodline. Compared to those with bloodline limits, they were doing quite well. Under the influence of their prominent families, those women with special bloodlines had not yet stooped to participate in this mission. But Natsuo didn't lose out either. As a civilian ninja, becoming a Chunin or higher-ranked ninja was already quite impressive. Although it wasn't as straightforward as having a bloodline limit, it still represented considerable talent. And so, the wedding ceremonies for the 5 people kept the scarce Uchiha clan busy. Although there were differences in their feelings, Natsuo claimed to treat them all fairly. They would have the ceremonies they were supposed to have. Keeping the women's feelings in mind, the wedding ceremonies were held separately, with at least 2 days in between. This made the women feel more comfortable. At least the groom didn't run off to another woman's bed on the second day of the marriage. Although Natsuo seems like a scumbag in his actions, he still treats us with some respect. Uzuki Ijao sighed softly. The Naruto world was full of feudal remnants. In front of the prominent nobles, being a wife meant having a little bit of status, not a commodity that could be exchanged. Although female ninjas generally wouldn't fall to such a level. But Natsuo's actions made these girls feel a bit respected. Looking at his handsome face, an inexplicable feeling surged in their hearts. Love? Warmth? It seemed so, but they probably couldn't even understand their own thoughts. Just Hokage-sama. Uzuki Ijao frowned, recalling the conversation with the third Hokage before she accepted the mission. Chapter 10, Offspring +1. Ijao, the Uchiha clan is making big moves, easily attracting attention and causing trouble. Konoha needs you to make sacrifices. But as an Anbu, we all have to make sacrifices, whether it's in terms of reputation or physically. Everything is for the sake of Konoha. But although there are only a few Uchiha left, precisely because of their scarcity, they need to be valued even more. I'm sending you there mainly to prevent others from targeting the Uchiha. They are the bloodline of Konoha's founders and must stay in Konoha. Hokage-sama, I know your sacrifice is significant, so Konoha will compensate you. Consider it an S-rank mission, plus an advanced B-rank ninjutsu. At the same time, your rank will be promoted from Chunin to Special Jainin. This is a great promotion for someone your age. Although the third Hokage knew rationally that the slightly growing Uchiha clan, with only a few members left, would only benefit Konoha and not pose a threat, his instinctual wariness of the Uchiha made him unable to resist the urge to place some spies. With only 2 Uchiha remaining, it was almost impossible for them to be turned, let alone steal any intelligence. But now, the Uchiha's desperate plea for offspring gave him an opportunity. Even with the help of spies, it's possible to gain control over the entire Uchiha legacy. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself, then took decisive action. After all, the Uchiha were the first prominent family of the Sengoku period. Sarutobi Hiruzen believed that there must be hidden legacies that the Anbu had not discovered, but that only those with the Uchiha bloodline could find. As for the so-called other villages targeting the Uchiha, well, naturally there was a possibility, and a very high one at that. After all, capturing the 2 Uchiha meant integrating the entire Uchiha clan into their own village. Not to mention the formidable power of the Sharingan, just the fact that the family of Konoha's founders joined another village would greatly undermine the beliefs of Konoha shinobi. However, if Konoha wanted to protect the Uchiha, they didn't need to resort to such methods. The most important thing was surveillance. Of course, the third Hokage was not foolish. He selected the most loyal Anbu. And this Anbu couldn't have a lover, and their strength couldn't be too strong. A ninja who was too powerful would be a waste as a long-term spy. It would be best if they were also a civilian ninja, to prevent any trouble with their family coveting the Uchiha bloodline. In the end, he chose Uzuki Ijao. Her strength happened to be on the edge of being a special genin. The key point was that she was beautiful. The third Hokage thought that any man wouldn't miss the chance to choose a wife like her. And the reality was just as the third Hokage had thought. Uzuki Ijao successfully entered the Uchiha clan. However, Uzuki Ijao opened her mouth. It was true that she didn't have a boyfriend yet, but that didn't mean that as a woman, she was willing to accept this type of mission. Although the third Hokage promised to immediately arrange a perfect new identity for her after completing the mission, ensuring that it wouldn't affect her reputation, there was still some resentment in her heart. But in the end, Uzuki Ijao accepted the mission. It wasn't because she coveted wealth or promotion, but as an Anbu, she didn't have the qualification to refuse the orders from the Hokage. In the world of ninjas, this is not allowed. No matter how dissatisfied one may be, it must be suppressed. That's why when the wedding festivities were over, looking at the man next to her, there was still a hint of passion in his eyes when he looked at her. Uzuki Ijao bit her lip slightly. The only thing I can be grateful for is the handsome appearance of my husband. This situation, perhaps not so bad. Natsuo didn't choose too many wives at once. On one hand, it was because he had high standards and eliminated the largest number of ordinary female ninjas with the lowest level of skill. On the other hand, it was also because the female ninjas of Konoha, who were still relatively simple, had some subconscious disbelief in this paying a large sum of money just to have a child behavior. Are there really people who would spend so much money just to have a child? Although 90% of the female ninjas of Konoha were very envious, only a few could decisively take action. And even fewer were chosen by Natsuo. But Natsuo was not in a hurry. Having too many wives in a short period of time would also be difficult to manage. After all, he only has one pair of kidneys. The Uchiha clan's integrity would gradually dispel their doubts. When the first batch of children were born and rewards were distributed, the female ninjas of Konoha would be tempted. After gaining a group of high-quality women at the beginning, Natsuo would maintain the standard of selecting talented women as wives as much as possible. And then he began his nights of bliss as a newlywed groom. Over a month later, most of the women became pregnant one after another. And Yukino's belly grew visibly faster. A few more months passed. The bellies of Ijao and the other women grew larger, and a few newcomers also showed pregnancy signs. And Yukino entered the delivery room. Suzuki and Natsuo waited outside together. Inside the room, Konoha's top medical team was at work. Finally, the sound of a baby crying rang out. At the same time, Natsuo heard a voice in his ear. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 32, you have gained Chakra +1, Fire Release, Great Fire Annihilation. Chapter 11, Hire Akatsuki to defend the Uchiha clan. The baby has just been born. Natsuo's eyes lit up. In the next second, a powerful surge of chakra erupted from his body, instantly strengthening his limbs and even making his heart beat stronger. Although it was just a +1, it felt like the newly added chakra was almost the same amount that Natsuo's own already possessed. Even though the Uchiha clan couldn't compare to the Senju and Uzumaki clans in terms of chakra amount, they were still a ninja clan with a large amount of chakra. This +1, is it almost the amount of chakra of an elite chunin? Natsuo thought to himself. At the same time, memories of the fire release, Great Fire Annihilation technique appeared in Natsuo's mind. The Uchiha clan actually had a scroll of this ninjutsu, which detailed numerous esoteric knowledge, including key points of training, collected over the years by members of the clan. However, the knowledge that appeared in Natsuo's mind at this moment was different. It was vivid and seemed to have truly experienced countless releases of ninjutsu. It even contained many techniques, timing of release, and methods to speed up hand seals when using the fire release, great fire annihilation in battle. Natsuo believed that if he were to release this ninjutsu now, he would definitely be able to do it skillfully and completely master it. His strength had greatly increased. And this was just a child. Natsuo carefully looked at the system prompt. Comprehensive potential evaluation. So, it's not just about quantity, but also about quality. He said. It seems like I still need to work hard to find high-quality female ninjas in Konoha. Natsuo couldn't help but shift his gaze to Ijo and the others who were also pregnant. The Uchiha clan was welcoming a new member again. For a family with only 2 pure-blooded Uchiha members, this was a big deal. Suzuki came to see this baby every day after school, for a month without interruption. With a sense of guilt due to his brother destroying the Uchiha clan, he saw the new generation of Uchiha as if it were his own redemption. Every day, he bought a bunch of toys that the newborn couldn't even play with yet, as well as delicious food that the baby couldn't eat, taking care of his nephew in a slightly childish but caring way. Natsuo felt that Sasuke's current appearance reminded him of the care Itachi gave him when he looked after Sasuke. Considering the Uchiha clan's tendency to have brother complexes and be obsessed with their siblings. Although Sasuke didn't show any brother complex in the original work, that was because he didn't have a younger brother at all. But now? Well, okay. Natsuo looked at the 7-year-old Sasuke who was amusing the newborn baby. Although they were not much different in age when Itachi was taking care of Sasuke, based on their seniority, maybe he should be called nephew-obsessed? Uchiha residence. Meow, that's how it is, meow. A black and white kitten licked its paw and said, the mining area has been attacked 3 times this month, and the miners have suffered losses, meow. Natsuo, what do you plan to do, meow? Another attack, hey. Natsuo narrowed his eyes and said, it seems that some shinobi and nobles from the fire country can't hold back anymore. As the largest clan back in the day, the Uchiha clan's assets were not limited to cash and properties in Konoha. There were mines that produced materials for ninja tool shops scattered throughout the village, and businesses under the protection of the Uchiha clan. Compared to mission rewards, these industries were the true financial sources for the Uchiha clan. Other major clans were similar. For example, the Nara clan controlled half of the medicinal herb production bases in the fire country, the Yamanaka clan had access to 70% of the poison and fresh flower channels, and the Akimichi clan owned many large chain restaurants. How much money could they earn from missions alone? Of course, true major clans would not openly associate with a group of weak merchants. For example, the Uchiha clan relied on the Nikomata clan, their staunch ally, to act as a front while secretly controlling these industries, gathering intelligence, and earning high profits. However, these industries were naturally stable when the Uchiha clan was strong, but now that the Uchiha clan was weakened, they naturally attracted countless wolves. They hired shinobi to attack the mines, ambush merchant caravans, and cause trouble in the shops. Various incidents kept occurring. In fact, if it weren't for the third Hokage's consideration of the Uchiha clan's recent heavy losses and not allowing the oppression of the Uchiha clan while they were weakened, which would affect the unity of Konoha, these things would have happened long ago. Of course, Sarutobi Hiruzen wasn't being kind-hearted either. Natsuo believed that during this time, he had also learned a lot about the Uchiha clan's industries, and the Sarutobi clan would soon quietly enter the scene and become the biggest winner of this feast. Miao-san, with the Uchiha clan's current strength, it's impossible to protect these industries. Natsuo looked at the black and white cat in front of him and said frankly, let's hire shinobi. But Natsuo, wouldn't that be equivalent to giving money to the village? Miao-san frowned, and its soft and fluffy appearance made people want to pet it. What's the difference between that and drinking poison to quench thirst? It's like walking into a tiger's den, meow. Most of the people who were itching for action now had some connection to the shinobi of Konoha village, otherwise, they wouldn't be able to find shinobi who could attack well-guarded mines. By hiring Konoha shinobi, it thought Natsuo believed that those attackers would naturally disappear. But after the mission was over and some time passed, they would reappear. In the end, it was like cutting his own flesh to feed a tiger and drinking poison to quench thirst. However, Natsuo shook his head. Who said I wanted to hire shinobi from the village? Miao-san, I believe in the loyalty of your Nikomata clan towards the Uchiha clan, and I also believe in your underworld intelligence capabilities. Can you help me use your channels to contact Akatsuki? Natsuo's mouth curled up. I want to hire shinobi from Akatsuki to defend the Uchiha clan. Chapter 12, The Hard Life of Kakuzu. Akatsuki. Flashes of light and shadows flickered. In the center, a man with Rinnegan opened his eyes and spoke in a deep voice. We have received a commission. The commission is for Akatsuki to kill all the ninja attacking the Sado mine, as well as the behind-the-scenes black market merchants and nobles. The reward is equivalent to 3 standard S-rank missions. Killing a few ninjas, along with some merchants and nobles, doesn't seem worth such a substantial reward, Sasori said in a hoarse, elderly voice. But this kind of small matter that anyone can handle shouldn't require the leader to gather all of us, right? Everyone's gaze turned towards the owner of the Rinnegan. Nagato didn't hide anything. The Sado mine is the Uchiha clan's property. This is a commission from the Uchiha clan. Recently, their property has been heavily harassed by some ninja, so they came to hire us. The Uchiha clan. Everyone was stunned, then subconsciously looked towards Uchiha Itachi beside them. Itachi's eyelids drooped slightly, and his pupils contracted imperceptibly. But his expression remained unchanged, as if it had nothing to do with him. Orochimaru licked his lips. Even the proud Uchiha clan is asking for help. But he probably doesn't know that the culprit who caused the famous Uchiha clan to fall into such a situation is right here in our organization Akatsuki. Others also laughed. The Uchiha clan has always been proud and accustomed to solving their enemies with their own strength, which was well known during the Sengoku period. Who would have thought that they would hand over their security to others? Not only that, but they also even came to us for help. This is really... By the way, I heard that the only 2 remaining members of the Uchiha clan have completely lost the Uchiha's glory and started crazy polygamy, completely acting as studs. I heard that too. The former prestigious family of the ninja world has fallen to such a state, this makes one really mourn. Hehe, don't say that. The current Uchiha clan leader's plan is actually quite reliable. According to my intelligence, he recently had a child. The contribution of this child to the growth of the Uchiha clan is much greater than what he, a mere Chunin, can achieve. Everyone laughed without any scruples. On the other hand, Nagato remained expressionless throughout, quietly looking at Itachi. Itachi, what do you think? Akatsuki is not yet the complete team of elites, still in the process of gathering funds and lacking a large amount of capital. Normally, Akatsuki would not refuse a mission with such a huge reward and low difficulty. But this time, it's related to an Akatsuki member. It's not that he has any feelings for these people in Akatsuki. Except for Konan, he doesn't approve of the behavior of the other ninjas. But Itachi's value to his plan is obviously much higher than a meager reward. I have no objections, Itachi's voice remained as calm as ever. The Uchiha clan is no longer worthy of my attention. Uchiha is Uchiha, and I am me. For the sake of our grand plan, I don't mind the organization's actions. Nagato nodded. Everyone is a ninja, there's no need for unnecessary fuss. Since Itachi says he doesn't mind, then he really doesn't mind. In that case, let's accept it. Nagato spoke up. Orochimaru, this mission is entrusted to you. I don't mind. Orochimaru smirked coldly. But I remember that Kakuzu is the one who loves missions with a lot of money, right? Oh, speaking of which, he didn't attend this gathering, did he? Is there something going on? As he spoke, he looked around to confirm that Kakuzu was indeed absent. Kakuzu's companion, Haiden, said carelessly, "Nothing much, just a while ago when that guy Kakuzu found out about the high price the Uchiha clan was offering for having a child, he couldn't help but take an extra look at Konan. Then, the leader beat him up badly, and he still can't get out of bed." The expressions of the people instantly became strange. Everyone knows Kakuzu's personality, it's obvious that she was looking at Konan with that look of hers. He probably has some thoughts. Like packaging and sending Konan, a cage-level expert? He probably won't take action, but he definitely has thoughts. Even daring to have thoughts about the leader's teammate with the Rinnegan, Kakuzu is quite bold. Is he willing to give up his life for the money? Alright, then I'll do it. Orochimaru smirked coldly. After all, I'm more familiar with the Land of Fire. But since the attacks were carried out by shinobi, their traces have to be well hidden. It will be quite troublesome to investigate the culprit this time. Itaki, if you don't mind, would you like to accompany me? You're quite familiar with the Uchiha clan's assets, aren't you? His snake-like tongue extended, and Orochimaru's eyes were filled with greed as he looked at Itaki. Itaki nodded slightly. His expression remained calm, as if he hadn't noticed Orochimaru's gaze at all. But in his heart, he sighed softly. Shall we, Itaki? Of course, Natsuo knew that Itaki was currently in the Akatsuki organization. And he understood even more that Itaki's actions against the Uchiha were for the sake of Konoha. Or rather, he believed it was for the sake of Konoha. But regardless of his actions, if Itaki didn't feel any guilt in his heart, that would be a joke. Even in the original plot during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when he faced Yakushi Kabuto, he openly admitted his own failure and regretted his hasty decision. Although it was still early for him to repent, his guilt in his heart would not disappear because of it. So don't even think that Itaki would let the Akatsuki refuse the Uchiha clan's request. He would even strive to complete this mission as perfectly and thoroughly as possible. I hope Itaki can do it perfectly and intimidate those shinobi even more. Natsuo chuckled lightly. Then he looked behind him. During this time, some high-quality female shinobi had joined the Uchiha family. Some of them were even pregnant. Of course, what made Natsuo even happier was the women from this group, including Ijao, had given birth. Chapter 13, Marry into the Uchiha clan and become a wealthy lady. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 27, you gain chakra +1, wind release, pressure damage. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 41, you gain mental power +2, fire release, ash pile burning. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 38, you gain mental power +1, lightning release, chakra mode. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 36, you gain chakra +1, fire release, big flame bullet. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 71, you gain chakra +5, fire release, great fire annihilation arrow. 5 treasures in a row. Just as I thought, the stronger the child's talent, the higher the reward. Natsuo looked at the system prompt and thought to himself. The child with a comprehensive potential evaluation of 71 is the one born from Ijao. Obviously, as a young Anbu with high talent and qualifications who will appear in the future plot, she is the strongest among Natsuo's wives. The reward for one child is almost equivalent to the sum of the other 4 children. Not to mention chakra, the fire-style reward in the back, although it looks like a B-level ninjutsu. But its content is 1 level higher than other ninjutsu. It actually contains information about chakra nature transformation. In other words, the true name of this reward should be, Fire Release, Great Fire Annihilation Arrow, Nature Transformation Version. Indeed, high-quality women from Konoha are the most suitable to be the mothers of my children. Natsuo thought without hesitation. While feeling the changes in his body, he compared the data. There are many fire-style rewards in the rewards. Is it because the children I fathered have Uchiha bloodline? Although Uchiha clan members do have chakra attributes such as lightning and water, their main attribute is still fire. Perhaps the system's rewards are given based on the talent inclination of the children born? Then, the chakra/mental power rewards in the previous rewards may also have this reason? However, there are too few samples, and the children have not grown up yet, so it is unknown what they will be like in the future. Natsuo can only silently keep it in mind and plan to see the growth of the children in the future. But compared to this matter, Natsuo looked at himself in the mirror, looking at the pair of 3 tomo patterns in his pupils. My Sharingan has advanced. Natsuo originally had a double tomo Sharingan, but now with the surge in mental power, he has obtained the 3 tomo Sharingan that only Uchiha Jonin would have. In other words, these rewards helped him continue developing his Uchiha clan bloodline. Continue to work hard. With more rewards, maybe I can directly activate the Manjiki Sharingan in the future. With Natsuo having children, the number of Uchiha clan members increased, and Suzuki naturally became very happy. Even Yukino also smiled brightly as she looked at the children who were not born to her. It's really beneficial to transmigrate to the Naruto world. Natsuo looked at his harmonious harem and thought to himself. This situation of wives enjoying themselves together would never happen in his previous life. But the women in the Naruto world do not reject the idea of their husband taking other wives. After all, who among the high-ranking officials and nobles of the Fire Country doesn't have a group of wives and concubines? Of course, Yukino is a minority when it comes to being willing to find other wives for her husband. Natsuo, by asking in a roundabout way, discovered that the reason Yukino developed this mentality seems to be because of her mother. Yukino's mother was an ordinary genin, but she was very eager to become a noblewoman of the ninja clan. Unfortunately, she had average looks and talent, and in the end, she only married an ordinary man. But she was a snob ninja. She instilled the aristocratic spirit of the noble clan in Yukino from an early age, saying that a woman from the noble clan is relegated to the category of wife and mother, while at the same time she was required to meet ideals of beauty, virtue, and obedience. Furthermore, because her status provides them with many comforts, it is her obligation to marry for the benefit of the ninja clan, either to form alliances or for the continuation of the bloodline. Under various forms of brainwashing, although Yukino did not become a snob ninja like her, she seemed to have developed a subconscious belief that for the sake of the clan, both male and female shinobi should make sacrifices. Therefore, it was only natural for her to accept other women serving her husband and raising his children for the sake of the Uchiha clan. If you love him, you should support him. Similar thoughts filled Yukino's mind. In response to this, Natsuo could only say, "Well done, mother-in-law." The impact of Natsuo having a child was not limited to the Uchiha clan. It had a significant influence in Konoha, and even throughout the entire shinobi world. The reason was simple. As soon as the child was born, Natsuo paid the reward. 10 million Ry in cash had already been received. B-rank ninjutsu was also available in the ninja library for anyone to choose. Except for Ijao, the other kunoichis couldn't help but show happy smiles, and after just giving birth, they went back to their parents' homes to show off their rewards. Suddenly, people became envious. This mission is actually for real. 10 million Ry, such easy money. Damn it. I almost signed up. Why did I hesitate? The Uchiha clan truly deserves to be the wealthy clan of Konoha. The kunoichis of Konoha went crazy. Initially, there was some hesitation because it was the first time such a mission appeared. But now that successful participants had emerged, what was there to worry about? Charge ahead. Go and accept the mission. Marry into the Uchiha clan and become a wealthy lady. This became their slogan. For a while, Natsuo received many mission applications. And for the kunoichis from outside of Konoha, the impact was even greater. As the most prosperous village, the income of the kunoichis in Konoha was already considerable, let alone outsiders. However, the highly paid mission of having children of the Uchiha clan was only available in Konoha, and people from other villages couldn't receive it. But that didn't mean people from other villages wouldn't take action. I didn't expect the Uchiha clan to actually be serious. Send our spies to retrieve the Uchiha bloodline. Cloud Shinobi Village, Rock Shinobi Village, Sand Shinobi Village, and others were all envious. That was the bloodline of the strongest shinobi clan. They originally thought this mission was not reliable, perhaps just a deception, so they didn't dare to let their valuable spies in Konoha do something that would increase their exposure. But now, those kunoichis who had given birth could return to their parents' homes. In the past, Cloud Shinobi Village played war and extortion for the sake of Byakugan. Now, for the more prestigious Sharingan, what was the risk of gambling a spy's life? Everything is for the village. For a while, Konoha village was in turmoil, with underground currents surging. Chapter 14, Female Spy? Nowadays, the Uchiha clan is no longer deserted like before, in addition to the hired servants of the common people and the newborn babies and young Suzuki. Everyone else is a ninja, without exception. In fact, even 8-year-old Suzuki is very observant. So, they all sensed this undercurrent. As they walked in the Uchiha residence, they could feel some people casting inexplicable glances at them. Whether it was envy, jealousy, or greed, they didn't know. But Natsuo remained unfazed and continued with the Konoha high-quality kunoichi selection plan. Even the spy, Uzuki Ijao, could smell the scent of a fellow spy from those candidates. She couldn't help but ask, Natsuo, is it really okay for the Uchiha clan to be so conspicuous in recruiting kunoichis? Don't we have to worry about spies from other villages infiltrating? We must be very careful with spies. As she said this, Uzuki Ijao blushed. Because fundamentally, she herself was also a member of the spy category. Of course, there's no need to worry. Natsuo laughed heartily. You're overthinking it. Our Uchiha family is warm and harmonious, how could there be spies? Spies also carry out missions, and how much money does an S-rank mission pay? Which village's spy can receive a higher reward than what the Uchiha clan offers? Natsuo scoffed at this. Spies? Even the wealthiest village, Konoha, can't offer much money. Uzuki Ijao opened her mouth but couldn't find anything to say for a moment. Although all the major villages brainwash their ninjas with phrases like love for the village, friendship, and loyalty, the fundamental reason for ninjas to carry out missions is to make a living, to receive rewards. As the leader of the richest village in the ninja world, the third Hokage definitely didn't offer a low price for her spy activities. Just a little sacrifice from a female ninja could earn her rewards comparable to an S-rank mission, advanced B-rank ninjutsu, and promises of promotion afterward. But compared to what the Uchiha clan offers, it's not even worth mentioning. Initially, she was even specially promoted to Special Genin by the third Hokage, to take advantage of the Uchiha clan. Although being a Special Genin couldn't be completely regarded as a Genin, when combined with her young age and high talent, the rewards offered by the Uchiha clan were calculated as Genin level. The rewards for 10 S-rank missions, the option to choose one advanced A-rank ninjutsu, continuous supply of nutritional supplements during pregnancy, and year-round servants' services. Apart from not being able to help with promotions, the price offered by the Uchiha clan is almost 10 times the standard reward set by the third Hokage. So, who would be bored enough to become a female spy? Natsuo laughed heartily, pulling Uzuki Ijao into his embrace. Even Uzuki Ijao herself, when she spoke, subconsciously spoke as if she were the lady of the Uchiha clan. It wasn't a disguise as a spy, but instinct. Besides, it doesn't matter even if they are spies. Natsuo whispered in Uzuki Ijao's ear, as long as she can bear children for the Uchiha clan, she is a good woman. As long as there are no fundamental issues that harm the Uchiha clan, any minor problems are not problems at all. Even if she really is a spy, I still consider her my wife. Uzuki Ijao listened this and felt her body go weak. But for some reason, she felt relieved in her heart. The two figures gradually merged. Natsuo didn't believe that there were any female spies in the Uchiha clan. What could a spy gain from betraying the Uchiha clan? The Uchiha clan is currently scarce in population, with an astonishingly high average resource per person, surpassing even some prominent clans' legitimate heirs. Why did you betray the Uchiha clan? For your own family? But you came here to have a child. Soon there will be a child connected to your bloodline here. If you love your family so much, aren't your children your family too? So, this is a contradiction. Those who betray for money, the Uchiha offers more. Those who betray for love, the Uchiha has her children. Regardless of whether you are a spy, in the end, you will only contribute to the Uchiha clan. Even Natsuo hopes they will send more spies. Look at Ijao. The child she gave birth to is much more talented than others' children. Spies often need to have an important hidden advantage that others don't know about, so their skills are much better than what they show. Isn't this a big profit? Of course, including the third Hokage, the leaders of the major ninja villages have not yet realized this. They think they have offered high salaries to spies. But they don't realize that the Uchiha clan offers more. Land of Fire. In a dark corridor. Natsuo, you've caused quite a stir. Uchiha attacked aside lightly, his eyes filled with complexity. He was actually quite familiar with Natsuo. This ordinary Chunin, at one point, suddenly talked to him eagerly about the meaning of the clan, the untrustworthiness of politicians, the need to look beyond the surface, the deeper reasons behind many things that you thought you knew, and not to act impulsively, as you would regret it in the future. At the time, Itaka thought that Natsuo was brainwashed by the clan and wanted to brainwash him into someone who only loved the clan and not Konoha, so he sneered at him. But now, combining his own experiences, he somewhat understood the meaning behind Natsuo's words back then. Of course, Itaka didn't think that Natsuo saw through him at the time, but rather that he was worried that he would be influenced by the third Hokage. After all, the matter of him becoming a spy wasn't too secretive. But he had to admit. Itaka regretted it a little. But it was too late for regrets now. Itaka didn't plan to, and couldn't, change the outcome. But even so, I can still contribute a little, consider it as payment for taking care of Suzuki. Itaka sighed lightly. The Uchiha clan's wealth is exposed, and the rumors are too strong. It will definitely attract some people's attention, and it may even affect Suzuki. So now, he wants to stop these people's hands and warn certain greedy eyes. Itaka walked slowly. Alone, but with a sharp edge. Not long ago, when he teamed up with Orochimaru, suddenly attacked him. But as expected, Orochimaru was killed in self-defense. Now I don't need to deliberately avoid teammates, it's more convenient to take action. Chapter 15, Everything is Orochimaru's fault. The Hidden Leaf Village is riotous. Many clans and high-ranking officials of the ninja village are salivating as they look at the Uchiha. There is no way around it. Natsuo has been lavishly spending money, bringing both the passion of high-quality kunoichis from Konoha and the attention of countless others. In fact, there are many wealthy families like the Uchiha clan, but as ninjas, why would they be so ostentatious with their money? It immediately caught the attention of countless people. Coupled with the current situation of the Uchiha clan, it is like a child walking through a bustling market with a gold nugget. Danzo was tempted. Money, in many cases, is powerless. For example, the Uchiha clan's wealth cannot buy back the lives of their clan members, and Konoha's wealth cannot withstand Nagato's fierce attacks. But in many cases, money is powerful. By obtaining the Uchiha clan's wealth, Danzo can easily expand his own roots. With increased strength, power naturally rises. Not to mention Danzo, even Sarutobi Hiruzen was tempted. If it weren't for the concern about the reactions of the major clans within the village, he would have already taken action when the Uchiha clan was annihilated. Or rather, if Natsuo hadn't handled it properly, he would have already taken action. And now, a year has passed, and the fear of the major clans has gradually diminished. They can now take action. And when Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but order the Sarutobi clan to start moving. Suddenly, a piece of news reached Konoha. In the capital of the Fire Country, 3 noble families with 100 years of heritage were wiped out overnight. 7 wealthy merchant families with considerable influence were all exterminated. The ninja sent by the major clans to target the Uchiha clan's assets all disappeared without a trace. Among them were high-level genin. In an instant, the owners of all the greedy gazes were shocked, hastily retracting their reaching hands, and looking at the Uchiha clan with a hint of fear in their eyes. This is indeed one of the great families that survived the Sengoku period. Even in their current state, they still have the ability to reach this level. Uchiha clan is so terrifying. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo understood in their hearts. It must be the work of Itaki. Sarutobi thought to himself, he still can't let go of the Uchiha clan. Danzo's eyes were filled with fear. Itaki. Is this the power of the Manjiki Sharingan? Those noble families and wealthy merchants all had powerful guards. Itaki's intimidation was successful. Many ninja clans, including Danzo, restrained themselves. While many people desired money, they valued their lives more. Of course, except for Kakuzu, top-level experts and major clans don't care too much about money. Even Orochimaru didn't pay much attention to it. Killing a few people was nothing to him. The biggest problem was probably the reaction of Akatsuki. Itaki, you have caused quite a stir. Byjz couldn't help but look at him with a strange gaze. Indeed. Nagato remained calm. You have killed too many people this time. It wouldn't be difficult for some capable ninja clans to find out that it was us, Akatsuki. The power we have exposed is too strong and will arouse the suspicion of others. That's not my problem. Itaki's expression remained calm, on par with the dead puppet Yahiko. It was Orochimaru's doing. Orochimaru. Everyone was stunned. Yes. Itaki nodded. After he failed to ambush me, he might have been worried that you, the leader, would come after him. When I arrived at the target location, Orochimaru had already killed them all. Perhaps he wanted to exchange this way for Akatsuki's forgiveness. As for why he killed so many, it's probably because he was in a hurry and wanted to beat me, who was familiar with the Uchiha industry. So, he would rather kill 1,000 by mistake than let one go. It's also possible that he wanted to expose Akatsuki and attract others to attack, in order to avoid our pursuit. I don't know the specific reason. In any case, it's Orochimaru's problem. It has nothing to do with me, Uchiha Itaki. If you have any questions, I suggest you go ask him directly. The others thought Itaki was deceiving them, but there was no evidence. Uchiha Itaki remained expressionless. Although this incident increased the risk of his exposure, when he made the agreement with Obito to join Akatsuki in exchange for not attacking Konoha, the other party already understood that he was likely a spy for Konoha. In fact, with Itaki's intelligence, he never uncovered any important secrets until his death. It shows that this spy doesn't have much significance. Now, even if there are more suspicions, it doesn't matter. Well, let's just assume it was Orochimaru. Nagato finally ended the topic and continued, in any case, your employer is very satisfied with this mission. At the same time, there is an additional mission to hire skilled members of Akatsuki to protect the Uchiha clan's members. This is a long-term guarding mission, calculated based on the payment for 3 S-rank missions per month. Again? The expressions of the others instantly became strange. Even Itaka's expression changed slightly. Nagato remained expressionless and continued, "Who among you is willing to go?" "I am." A slightly weak but determined voice rang out. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice. "Oh, it's Kakuzu, old man. I knew you wouldn't miss out on a well-paying mission like this. By the way, Kakuzu, why did you change your appearance like this?" The expressions of the others gradually became strange. Everyone else was standing, but Kakuzu seemed to be lying on the ground like a pile of mud. Why maintain this posture? Didn't the injuries inflicted by the leader heal already? "Oh, it's like this." Kakuzu's considerate teammate, Haiden, laughed. "Actually, this time, Uchiha contacted Akatsuki through Kakuzu. Uchiha wanted to add a mission to capture a cage-level female ninja and offered $1 billion RY for a cage-level female ninja who can bear children. So Kakuzu couldn't help but take another look at Konan. Anyway, now he's collapsed on the bed again and can't get up." Everyone. "Wow, the old man is really the old man. But there's no need to attend the meeting with injuries. Akatsuki shouldn't oppress its employees like this, right? If I don't attend the meeting, will I still have a share in this mission?" Kakuzu's gaze was intense, his voice resolute. "Leader, I want to participate in this mission. I didn't get anything from the last mission, so this time, don't even think about competing with me. Whoever dares to compete, I'll kill them." Even though he was seriously injured and lying on the bed, Kakuzu still raised his arm in a trembling but unwavering manner, like an elementary school student raising their hand to answer a question, his expression full of seriousness. Everyone. Chapter 16, Walking Bag of Hormones. "In any case, for the next period of time, I will be responsible for protecting you." Kakuzu's voice was deep, giving off a very reliable feeling. Although he had just been beaten by Nagato, Kakuzu's ability to regenerate allowed him to appear healthy in front of his employer. Hiring Akatsuki as a bodyguard was something Natsuo had considered for a long time. After all, in this world, the shinobi of the 5 great nations have always been synonymous with high quality and high prices. Even Kakuzu welcomed the cheap Zabuza, simply because the shinobi of the 5 great nations were too expensive. As a big businessman, he felt the pain in his wallet. And Akatsuki was both good and cheap, even Noki chose to hire Akatsuki. As the Tsuchikage, he couldn't possibly not know that allocating military funds to hire Akatsuki would affect the village's own military development. But he still did it. Because Akatsuki was really cheap. For the same S-rank mission, Akatsuki's reward was only about half of what they would offer the shinobi of the 5 great nations, and they worked diligently and never discarded their work. Although Itaka had severely intimidated those large ninja clans, the Uchiha clan's actual strength had indeed declined. Some medium-sized ninja clans who couldn't see the cause and effect of the Uchiha clan massacre, and who didn't pursue wealth but desired the Uchiha bloodline, still hadn't given up. The Uchiha clan needs sufficient protection forces. However, Natsuo shook his head and corrected, "Not to protect me, but to protect my children." After several rewards, Natsuo's strength had surpassed that of an ordinary Jonin, and Suzuki, under the agreement of Itaki and the 3rd Hokage, had specialized ANBU protection. His wives were also skilled kunoichis. It was the weak newborns who needed protection. Kakuzu frowned, "If everyone is together, I can accomplish the task, otherwise, there are too many Uchiha children, and I alone am not enough to take care of so many people." Natsuo nodded, "That's possible." The two discussed the details, such as the specific guarding plan, whether traps could be set, and the method of payment. After the discussion, Kakuzu finally nodded in satisfaction. The Uchiha clan was indeed a rich clan, it's a shame they don't have more tasks to issue. "Oh, by the way," Kakuzu coughed, and his voice was filled with regret, "regarding your other request, Akatsuki has decided not to take on that mission. I'm sorry." The other request was the mission to find a cage-level female shinobi. Of course, it wasn't that Akatsuki couldn't handle a cage-level female shinobi, but there weren't many skilled female shinobi to begin with, and cage-level female shinobi were very rarer. Currently, there were probably only a few, such as Yujito Nii, Taram Mei, and Konan. The Jinkriki were also Akatsuki's targets and couldn't be sold. The influence of a village leader was too great, so they couldn't act. That left only Konan. It wasn't that Kakuzu didn't want to take on the mission, but he couldn't find anyone to target. He explained the problems involved and then reluctantly said to Natsuo, "If you find a target that can be targeted, you can contact me. I'll give you a discount." Natsuo was still working hard. As news of the Uchiha clan's trustworthiness spread, the kunoichis in the village became even more excited and began submitting their resumes one after another. However, Natsuo didn't recruit people on a large scale. As the number of options increased, Natsuo's standards also became higher. Ordinary chnin were already finding it difficult to catch Natsuo's eye. He is just one person, so naturally we must be careful with resources. Not to mention that the wives who have previously given birth have gradually recovered their health and are once again in a state of preparing for pregnancy, able to withstand the rain and dew. For example, the first to give birth, Yukino, is pregnant again. At the same time, the wives who entered after Uzuki Ijao have also started to give birth gradually. Offspring +1, the comprehensive potential evaluation is 42, you gain Chakra +2, Magan, Kaiten, Sharingan technique. Similar rewards keep coming, but no child has been born who surpasses the first child of Uzuki Ijao. Today, Natsuo is out shopping with his wives. "Husband, I want to eat this." "Sister, how does this dress look on me? Does it suit me?" "Darling, can you buy me a bouquet of flowers? What should I pay attention to during pregnancy? Should we prepare the baby's clothes in advance?" The wives chatter, their faces full of smiles, occasionally touching their gradually growing bellies, their faces filled with maternal smiles. Natsuo also replies with a smile, taking care of each and every one of them. Uzuki Ijao pouts and whispers, he really knows how to put on a show. But her eyes are filled with complexity. Wives, in the presence of some nobles, are nothing more than objects of release. But Natsuo treats each and every one of them like a boyfriend in love, making them feel very safe. Even Uzuki Ijao gently touches her own belly. Last time during her period, Natsuo actually helped her gently massage her belly, heated water, and prepared a hot water bottle. What's the difference between this and having a boyfriend? Of course, now Uzuki Ijao is pregnant again, so she doesn't have to worry about her period anymore. Passing by a meatball shop. "Oh, Kakashi? Anko? Why Kurane? Guy?" Natsuo paused and then walked in with a smile. Anko also saw Natsuo and waved, "Natsuo? Come and eat with us." "Sure." Natsuo smiled and said to the women behind him, "Let's go inside and sit." The women also walked in one after another, making the already small shop feel crowded. Some of them ordered a large milk tea and shared it with each other, some giggled and leaned against Natsuo, acting spoiled and saying they wanted to drink iced milk tea, some picked up food and fed it to him. Harmonious to the extreme. Meanwhile, Kakashi, Kurane, Anko, and other single people watched on the side, with a helpless expression. "This guy is like a walking bag of hormones." Kakashi sighed. Might Guy's eyes widened in shock. Does Natsuo not understand that God gave men powerful hands so that we can be self-reliant and find food, not wait for women to feed us? A person who doesn't even know how to eat, what's the difference between him and a salted fish? Might Guy is jealous. Chapter 17, A Harmless Uchiha Poseidon? Natsuo accompanied his wives and chatted with Anko. Among those present, Kurane and Might Guy were Natsuo's former classmates, although they were in different grades and had limited interaction. They basically only knew each other's names. They were just casually gathering during their free time. The reason Anko called Natsuo by his name was mainly because it treated her to a lot of meatballs. Compared to these ninjas who frequently went on missions, Natsuo had more free time. He would often take his wives out for a stroll in Konoha and would always encounter Anko, who was poor but still had a craving for food. And every time, Yukino would take the initiative to treat Anko to her favorite meatballs. Yukino seemed to have not given up on Anko as a target, but her actions became more subtle. Upon seeing Anko, Yukino's enthusiasm instantly ignited. On the other hand, Natsuo glanced at Might Guy. Morning peacock, afternoon tiger, night guy. First there was Guy, then there was heaven, 8 gates open to kick immortals. Under the 6 paths, I am invincible, above the 6 paths, one exchange after another. These verses were all evaluations of this man with a strong personality. However, Natsuo only chatted with him briefly and didn't show much concern. Although Might Guy was definitely the strongest in the world today. But I'm just a harmless Uchiha Poseidon. Why would he go all out and open the 8 gates to target me? Right? So Natsuo continued to indulge with his wives. One wife acted coquettishly, another wife gave a kiss, and there was even a wife who took the initiative to feed him. He had the demeanor of a feudal landlord's young master, enjoying great happiness. Kakashi and the others felt like they were being force-fed a bunch of dog food, finding it hard to swallow, and their livers were aching. Not to mention the men. Even Yai Kurane, a woman, couldn't stand it. It's not that I couldn't stand the signs of affection, but Natsuo, Yai Kurane couldn't help but say, who goes out with a bunch of women like you? Uchiha clan's high price for offspring naturally attracted a large number of female admirers. But there were also many strong-willed women like Yai Kurane who felt that Natsuo was objectifying women and mocking them. Can't you just bring one person each time? Yai Kurane blurted out, don't you think this is disrespectful to the women around you? Yukino and the other women frowned, and about to speak up. But Natsuo chuckled lightly, no, Kurane, you're wrong. I am respecting them. Is this respect? Yai Kurane felt like she was going to laugh out of anger. You already have several wives, and you still have the audacity to claim to respect women. Of course, it's respect. Natsuo said seriously, I have never forced any woman. When I went out this time, I specifically asked each and every one of them, inquired about their opinions. When I married them, I never forced anyone, even when it comes to trying new positions in bed, I always ask if they're willing. Of course, as Natsuo's experience gradually grew and his techniques became more sophisticated, no woman has ever rejected. I believe that respecting women means respecting their choices, Natsuo said seriously. I never force them to do anything they don't want to do. I have asked for their opinions on everything that concerns them. Even someone who just entered the Uchiha clan regretted it as soon as they stepped through my door, and I politely sent them off. This is indeed true. Some people were envious of the rewards of the Uchiha clan but regretted it on the second day of their marriage. Natsuo didn't mind, anyway. It was like he had freeloaded once, so he didn't lose out. I think in Konoha, perhaps there aren't many people who respect women more than me, Natsuo smiled. Of course, you all understand the current situation of the Uchiha clan. There are some things I can't compromise on, so I can only find women who are willing to accept me. Yai Kurane opened her mouth, but for a moment, she didn't know what to say. As the daughter of a ninja clan, she understood that continuing the family was the responsibility of every clan ninja. And the essence of the Fire Country was also a feudal society with male dominance. From this perspective, Natsuo, who had many wives, was actually a rare man who respected women. In the end, this gathering ended with a somewhat unpleasant feeling. Anko blamed Yai Kurane a bit, feeling that she had lost points with Natsuo and lamented for his numerous treats. Kakashi and Might Guy tried to mediate, but the two women still argued a few times. Yi Kurane walked alone on the street with a bit of frustration. At this moment, Asuma caught up. "Kurane, you're here." Asuma with a big mustache saw her and immediately smiled. "It's great to see you. By the way, I got 2 movie tickets. Let's go watch together." "Oh, right, I heard you and Kakashi met Uchiha Natsuo. That guy who gave up on being a ninja and became a stud, you should avoid him in the future." Upon hearing this, Yi Kurane froze on the spot. She knew that Asuma liked her. She was also considering whether or not to spend more time with him and get to know him better. "But we just finished the meeting, and he already found out that I had seen Natsuo. Is he monitoring me?" Yi Kurane suddenly remembered Natsuo's words. So, who really doesn't respect women? Asuma, on the other hand, didn't notice anything wrong with his words. He looked at the stunned Kurane, raised an eyebrow, and reached out to hold her hand. However, smack! Yi Kurane forcefully shook off Asuma's hand. Chapter 18, Natsuo's Hard Life. Natsuo didn't care at all about the matter with Yi Kurane. Uchiha clan's heavy investment in seeking a child naturally attracted countless women's cheers, but it also inevitably faced criticism. Yi Kurane had considerable strength, talent, and a wealthy, so she naturally didn't like this kind of openly priced approach. Compared to Yi Kurane, some men were even more intolerant of Uchiha. Kakashi and Might Guy's jealousy could be considered extremely mild emotions. After all, Natsuo frequently flaunted his wealth and occasionally paraded around with a group of girls. Not to mention that his wives they possessed both strength and beauty, making them outstanding among the female ninjas of Konoha. They had countless pursuers. So, the mentality of some male ninjas in Konoha was unstable. Let me put it this way. It can be said that Natsuo felt that as long as he ran to the streets of Konoha village and shouted, "I am Uchiha Natsuo, if you're my brother, come and fight me," he would instantly gain many half-siblings. But today was a bit different. "Sasuke hasn't come home yet," Natsuo squinted his eyes. After all, Sasuke was still young, and currently, the custody was with Natsuo. Although he still lived in his own house every day, he ate at Natsuo's place. And now it was getting dark, but Sasuke still hadn't appeared. "Let's go find him," Natsuo sighed lightly. After all, Itake was still working for Uchiha clan in disguise, and he was currently the only one who could support Uchiha's face. Some harmony between brothers and friends had to be maintained. Konoha had several training grounds. Natsuo searched for a long time and finally found that familiar figure desperately pounding a wooden stake in a training ground near the corner. "What's wrong? Why haven't you come home for dinner? Hey, what happened to you?" Natsuo narrowed his eyes slightly. At this moment, Sasuke had some bruises on his face, his clothes were torn in some places, and there was even a deep footprint on his abdomen. "Did you win?" Natsuo glanced at Sasuke and calmly asked. "I didn't lose." Sasuke bit his lip, "But I didn't win either." There was a hint of unwillingness in his eyes, and he clenched his teeth tightly. Sasuke didn't try to make excuses because he knew he couldn't deceive a member of the Uchiha clan. "It seems like you suffered a little setback," Natsuo thought to himself. People of the same age can't defeat Sasuke, so it must have been someone from a higher grade who took action. At this time, before Naruto became overpowered, Sasuke was undoubtedly the number one. So it could only be someone from a higher grade. "It's okay, just come back and win next time," Natsuo said calmly. Question: what should I do if I'm bullied by classmates? Mamakai Zabuza, at times like this, just kill all your classmates. Ninjas themselves are killers, and students at the ninja school are also reserve warriors. It's normal to have conflicts and use physical force. A little bit of struggle can even stimulate students' motivation to improve. So as long as it doesn't cause major problems, no ninja parent would go to the school to make trouble just because their child was beaten up. Only civilian ninjas without vision would do such a thing. Encouraging them to retaliate is what true ninja parents should do. Okay, Sasuke obviously had this idea. But after a pause, he raised his head and asked, "Brother Natsuo, do you know someone named Higa Niji?" "Niji? What happened to him?" "When I was about to lose, he came out and drove those people away." "From his words, it seems like you know him." Natsuo calmly replied, "I know him a little, but not much." In fact, Natsuo had contact with many people. In order to save the Uchiha clan, he had also thought of many ways. For example, like what was written in many fanfictions, he united the large clans that were suppressed by the third Hokage, overthrew the third Hokage, annihilated the Anbu, and staged a coup in Konoha. For this, he had made many preparations. For example, he gave Niji some advice before Higa Hisashi died. Other example was I taught a lesson to the brat who bullied Hinata. All of this was to establish a connection with the Higa clan for future actions. Unfortunately, the Uchiha clan was still in a difficult situation, and Natsuo's preparations were in vain. In the end, Sasuke did not go home with Natsuo. He had to continue his training and strive to come back for revenge as soon as possible. Natsuo understood this. When other students were beaten, they could cry to their parents, cry to their teachers, show their weakness and seek comfort from others. But Sasuke couldn't do that. Because he represented the Uchiha clan, he could only continue to endure and quickly regain his position. Otherwise, rumors would immediately spread that the Uchiha clan had completely fallen, and they were no longer worthy of their past reputation. And the original Sasuke had even greater pressure than the current Sasuke. After all, in the original story, only Sasuke was left in the entire Uchiha clan, while now there was still Natsuo. Responsibility is a bad thing, it can easily crush a person. But it is also a good thing, it can test whether a person is capable. Natsuo shook his head. In the end, he handed some money to Sasuke, so that he could buy some food after finishing his training. In order to restore the reputation of the Uchiha clan, Sasuke had to train hard, endure, and even fight countless powerful opponents in the future, with life and death hanging by a thread. But this was the price he had to pay in order to kill Itachi. Natsuo was the same. For the revival of the Uchiha clan, he had to listen to music and watch dances in a boring manner and have a large harem. He had to have a monotonous and affectionate relationship with his wives. He had to possess beauties, conquer them every day, and face all challenges with an iron will, like a steel bar sharpened when grinding a stone. This boredom and pain were known only to extraordinary people. Ah! Natsuo shook his head, feeling deeply moved by his own efforts. Just as Natsuo was walking and feeling emotional, suddenly, a tender white arm reached out from beside him and pulled him over. Natsuo was stunned. A strong smell of alcohol instantly came over, mixed with a unique scent of musk. It was the fragrance of a woman. "Come, Natsuo, come and drink with me." Yi Kurane. Chapter 19, It's your fault anyway. Yi Kurane just wants to get drunk now. This afternoon, she had a big fight with Asuma. It started because of Natsuo's words, but it was mainly because Asuma proved that what he said was true. Even someone like you, who has multiple wives, knows to respect every woman. Yet Asuma is monitoring me. Yi Kurane, with a strong smell of alcohol, had a red face and a hazy gaze. Natsuo sat on the chair, looking helpless. As someone who was pulled into this halfway, he didn't really want to say anything. Of course, Yi Kurane didn't need his answer. Why does that guy Asuma have the right to monitor me? Clearly I haven't done anything with him, but he still looks out for me. Why? If I talk to male colleagues for a few sentences, do I have to report to him as if he were my boyfriend? I know, a few colleagues who have talked to me before ended up inexplicably being promoted to meaningless positions. Isn't that a clear case of praising in public but criticizing in private? How can they treat my friends like this? Relying on his identity as the Hokage's son, he really acts recklessly. Has he ever considered my feelings? Yi Kurane shouted loudly with a strong smell of alcohol. Obviously, this person was very drunk, even saying things like relying on his identity as the Hokage's son. Natsuo sighed lightly, formed hand seals, and cast a genjutsu to prevent people around from hearing her words. This spoiled rich kid pursuing a girl story shouldn't be heard by too many people. But he also understood that Yi Kurane's words were probably true. Clearly, Asuma and Yi Kurane were the same age and had known each other since they were young. But in the original plot it wasn't until a few years after Naruto and the others graduated, that Asuma finally succeeded. Obviously, their relationship wasn't close before that, and there might even have been some hidden conflicts. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been such a long wait. But looking at Yi Kurane, who was full of resentment, Natsuo sighed lightly, took a sip of wine, and comforted her. It's okay, if it doesn't work, you just reject it directly. It's not that easy. Yi Kurane forced a bitter smile and downed another glass. I've already rejected him, but he's the Hokage's only son. Do you really think I can snub him? If you don't speak harshly, he really doesn't understand. Then came a series of complaints. Because of Asuma, all her teammates were female, and her superiors didn't dare to assign any male teammates to her. And several times when she went on missions, she inexplicably encountered Asuma. She felt like even her captain deliberately cooperated with Asuma, selecting missions in the same locations as him. The more she spoke, the more she drank. The more she drank, the more she spoke. It was clear that Yi Kurane had been accumulating this pressure for a long time, and even Natsuo, who happened to be there, was treated as a trash can by her. Fine, drink, drink. I've been doing too much lately, and my back is a bit sore. Let's just take today as a day off. Natsuo sighed lightly and picked up his glass, accompanying her in drinking. Seeing how distressed the beauty was, he decided to drink with her. The next day, the bright sunlight shone through the door. Natsuo furrowed his brows and couldn't help but squint and turn over. After turning over, he seemed to have bumped into something. This was normal, after all, he would always bump into something when he turned over every day. However, today seems different from usual. Ah! The piercing soprano voice made him abruptly sit up. He opened his eyes wide, only to see Yi Kurane covering her naked body with a blanket, her face full of fear, looking at Natsuo. Oh, Yi Kurane, what's the big fuss about? Hey! Natsuo suddenly became sober. Yi Kurane also gradually lowered her tone. The two of them looked at each other. Why are you here? I don't know, what about you? I don't know either. What happened last night? I remember you grabbed me, and we drank, then. Natsuo was trying hard to recall. Last night, Yi Kurane complained to him about Asuma, and he just accompanied her for a few drinks. He didn't drink much, and he thought with his alcohol tolerance, there shouldn't be any problems. But Natsuo overlooked one thing: he couldn't drink while trying to have children, so he had been avoiding alcohol for a long time. Not drinking for too long weakens one's alcohol tolerance. So, Natsuo got drunk too. And then he drank even more. Following Yi Kurane's words, he started cursing Asuma, and even represented the Uchiha clan, saying that the third Hokage was trash. Before, Natsuo had been worried about being implicated because of the Uchiha clan, and had been under a lot of stress, almost disappearing completely. All of this was Sarutobi Hiruzen's fault. The more they cursed, the more they drank. And then, as they kept drinking, they eventually... Natsuo quietly lifted the blanket a little. There were scattered bloodstains on the bed sheet, blooming like plum blossoms. Although his actions were discreet, Yi Kurane also saw this scene. She suddenly became angry and grabbed a pillow, throwing it at Natsuo. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. This is mine. Wait. Natsuo grabbed the pillow, interrupting her. If my last memory is correct, it seems like you shouted something like "Damn it, Asuma, I gave it to Natsuo and not you," and then you pounced on me. Kurane stared blankly at Natsuo. It seems like that's exactly what happened? But I don't care. It's still your fault. Chapter 20, You denied that you knew me after pulling up your pants. It is meaningless to reason with women. Natsuo once again realized this. But the only advantage is that, in such matters, men can never lose. Don't think that because of my momentary mistake, you can really continue with me. Kurane tried hard to put on a fierce look, but her pretty face blushed in embarrassment. I'm telling you, nothing happened yesterday. If you dare to expose what happened yesterday, you're done for. As she spoke, her eyes almost popped out. Natsuo. Sister, am I not the victim here? Clearly, it was you who forced yourself on me. Of course, last night you were acting completely different. Natsuo muttered softly. What did you say? Kurane glared angrily at Natsuo. I said you're right, nothing happened yesterday, I just happened to pass by your house. Only then did Kurane's anger subside slightly. She nodded and said, since you know it was just a coincidence, then hurry up and leave. Why didn't you say that last night? Now you just denied knowing me after pulling up your pants. Fine, I'll leave. Is it not okay for me to leave? Natsuo began to get dressed. Wait. What's wrong? Kurane threatened through gritted teeth, be careful when you leave, don't let anyone find out. If someone finds out, you're done for. Natsuo. But this unexpected encounter didn't bother Natsuo. After all, he had nothing to lose. As for Kurane, he didn't think much of her either. The Kurane's family didn't have the same problems as the Mitarashi clan. On the contrary, as a staunch ninja clan of the Hokage lineage, the Kurane's family may not have much authority, but they were not lacking in money. They had also accumulated a fair amount of ninjutsu, at least not lacking in intermediate and low-level ninjutsu, besides genjutsu. Natsuo has always been pure, just looking for a female ninja who is willing to accept his situation and have children with him. And obviously, Kurane, as a woman of the new era who is not lacking in money, has outstanding talent, and has a relatively independent personality, unwilling to be a man's appendage, is not Natsuo's target. Last night was just an accident. When leaving, Natsuo also followed Kurane's instructions, deliberately concealing his figure and leaving without being noticed by anyone. For him, who already had Genin-level strength, this was not difficult. However, Kurane. Sex without love is an empty experience, but as an empty experience it was one of the most comforting. Hokage office. Hiruzen, look at the Uchiha clan. Dans roared angrily, they actually hired ninjas from other villages to protect their own family. Is this acceptable? The esteemed Uchiha clan, even if they have a small population and lack combat power, can still hire ninjas from our Konoha village. What kind of reasons might they have for hiring outsiders? He was referring to the external recruitment of Kakuzu by Natsuo. Regarding this matter, Natsuo did not hide anything. There are regulations in Konoha that allow outsiders to stay in the village, and the Konoha does not prohibit other ninjas from entering the village. As long as they are not wanted criminals, anyone can legally and reasonably enter Konoha. Oh! Kakuzu is a wanted criminal, an S-rank missing nin from the Takigakuer. But he can disguise himself, right? Of course, things are not that simple, and there are also many conditions and restrictions. However, the Uchiha clan, after all, is a prominent family in Konoha, and with the reputation of their clan, they naturally won't be hindered by the procedures. Perhaps they no longer trust the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep drag on his cigarette. They might have guessed something and feel that the genocide committed by Ataka may have some connection to certain individuals in the village. In the original plot, even Suzuki, who only spent his childhood in Konoha, was able to figure out the problem later on and deduce that Ataki alone was not enough to wipe out the entire clan. Moreover, Natsuo has been in Konoha for a long time and is a ninja himself, so he can discover some clues, right? Not to mention Natsuo, those big clans are actually quite clear in their hearts. Otherwise, Sarutobi Hiruzen would not have revoked Danzo's leadership of Root immediately after the Uchiha clan was annihilated. Hiruzen, we should eliminate the root of the problem. Danzo said without hesitation, the matter of the Uchiha clan must never be exposed. What if this Uchiha Natsuo is someone who hides very deeply, and his existence could pose a threat to the village? The Uchiha clan possesses the Mangeki Sharingan. No. Danzo, you're overthinking it. Sarutobi Hiruzen decisively shook his head. You and I have seen his information. He is just an average Uchiha, far from being able to awaken the Mangeki Sharingan. Moreover, the fact that he hired outsiders actually proves that he only suspects a small group of people. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head and looked at Natsuo's information. If he really guessed the truth, why would he hire outsiders so openly? The correct approach would be to pretend not to know anything and continue accumulating strength, right? Besides, the Uchiha clan leader is quite busy. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a hint of sarcasm, many kunoichis have joined the Uchiha clan. He can have a different wife every night. It's truly enviable. Cough, cough, it's despicable. Danzo also understood this point. He understood even more that Natsuo's promiscuous lifestyle was a complete abandonment of progress and strength, lacking the pride of the Uchiha. Hiring outsiders only further proves that he only suspects a certain group of people, like himself. But that person is still an Uchiha. Danzo's eyes were filled with hostility, and he thought to himself, the dead Uchiha is the best Uchiha. The Uchiha clan should not exist in this world. Hiruzen, if you don't take action, then I will. I will bear the darkness of Konoha. Root, begin the operation.
Thanks for listening.